Benvenuti nel dietro le quinte del concerto dei Mr. Big a Bologna. Abbiamo qui un fan della band a cui vorrei chiedere che cosa ne pensa di me.
Io sono un fan della band, non di te, quindi non... Poi non so pensare io, quindi non...
Infatti, come vedo, lei lavora per Metal.it, un posto dove pensare è quasi un reato. Ma adesso intervistiamo, mi inquadri, l'uomo che beve. L'uomo che beve, è emozionato per questo momento?
Per questo non tanto, dopo magari potrei emozionarmi. Ad esempio...
Grazie.
Tutto molto interessante.
Sono andati via tutti. Bene, abbiamo un'ultima domanda da rivolgere a Natasha, che è la moglie segreta di Eric Martin. Natasha, pensi che tuo marito ci dirà delle cose interessanti?
Ma io non sapere. No.
Dai Natasha, allena il tuo italiano. Niente, va bene. Oh, per il momento è tutto. Da Metal.it, Andrea Perlini. Grazie.
Non è vero!
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
How are you?
Kind of tired.
Okay. Shall we start? Thank you very much for this interview. We are from Metal.it. Yeah, yes, up your ass, as we say. Oh, sorry. I was rude. Let's start from the last record, of course. So let's talk about What If. Can you describe the new record in a few words for us?
It's like the older records, but with less reverb, and it's live. The whole thing's live. In the past, we went and did Billy, Pat, and Paul did live, and then a couple weeks later, I'd come in and sing, and and then so on this record. This was done like everybody did the same thing at once. No overdubs at all. Even if we wanted to, because I wanted to fix, but our illustrious producer Kevin Shirley said, tough shit. So
That's okay.
it's a raw rock and roll record.
What about the artwork? Can you explain this strange pig with wings? Come on.
Yeah, Pat Torpy usually comes up with like that quirky little ideas that Mr. Big has. And he found this pig, and he put wings on it in Photoshop. And he goes, hey, what if, you know, Mr. Big got back together? Yeah, when pigs fly.
All right.
All right.
Okay, can you tell us which are the songs that you like the most of this record, and why did you like some songs more than others? You do.
The song Around the World, which is a great, energetic rock and roll song. I like that for the just the sheer Mr. Big pyrotechnics of that song. And then I like a song called Stranger in My Life, which is a song that I wrote when I found out Mr. Big got back together, and I wrote the song. It was about a soldier that I saw in a London airport, kind of all alone, kind of almost like invisible, people walking by him, and I kind of came up to him, and I was a little embarrassed, but I went, thank you, you know. And so I wrote a song, how I feel if I would be in this guy's shoes, like a conflict between being a hero somewhere and an enemy somewhere else, and sometimes vice versa, you know, enemies and stuff. Anyways, complicated song, but it's one of my favorite.
All right. Have the years changed your writing process? How did you work with this one, if referred to the previous ones, in the writing process of the record?
It's the same way in every album. We individually bring in songs. Like I brought in "Stranger in My Life." Obviously, got a sore throat because just woke up, and this is the way I sound every day. And then during showtime, it's like, how does he do it? So I brought in Stranger in My Life, and I Won't Get in My Way. And then Pat brought in a time around, and Paul brought in All the Way Up, which is pretty ballad. And As Far as I Can See, and a couple of, everybody comes up with like different individual ideas. And then when we get together, we usually pump out 4 or 5 songs.
All right. The Japan and the Far East have always been your main market, but Italy has a very strong love for you. And I'd like to know what are the differences between the two markets and the two crowds. Maybe we are more louder.
Yes, you are. Like last night when we played in Rome, it was crazy loud. It was great. Yeah, you're very energetic folks, you know. Japanese people are reserved. They used to be reserved in the 80s. They used to have to sit there, and the security people was like sit down, don't have fun. And now maybe they've taken a lesson from the Italians, but they're going nuts now. But Japanese have always put rock and roll on a pedestal. And I mean, why is it that one of the top rock and roll magazines in Japan, Burn magazine, has Richie Blackmore on the cover, and it's 2011, man. You know, because rock is king. You know. So you go with to the places that people love you. You know, Japan and Italy.
Oh, yes, of course. Let's return to the live performance. How do you decide the track list, the set list for the evening?
That's Pat. Man, yeah, Pat. He's kind of like Billy. Billy's kind of like the icon of the band. He started the band. He made his first phone call to me, so I kind of look at it. It's like I'm the vice president. All right. And then we got Paul, and we got Pat. But Pat, you know, you can't. He's the last guy, but he's also, in a way, the secret weapon, the fearless leader, and he's the one that comes up with like the set lists. Yeah.
All right. Of course. And no opening act. Is it your decision or the label or what?
Sometimes. I mean, I don't know any rock and roll bands, like up and coming rock and roll bands in Europe, but I do know in the United States. And so if I see somebody online that I like, I'll suggest it. Like at the played in San Francisco, and I liked the group, and this, but I like diversity. I don't like having the same type of band playing with each other. I don't mind it, but I'd rather have it like I grew up in the '70s, where they had, you know, comedy, rock and roll, R&B, like, you know, almost like Woodstock or something, like a big, pretty much anything. And when we played in England, we had all these groups playing who play rock and roll, play acoustic. You know, it was got a little diversity for the crowd. You don't want to get wiped out for like an hour when you see them. And then for us, we play 2.5 hours. So it's like a barrage of metal. I mean, there's not enough metal to go around, but still, that's enough information.
All right.
You know?
Mr. Big, I've been on the road for about 22 years, and your solo career actually starts in 1983. Your first record is of 1983. And the music world has changed a lot in these years. Do you think it was easier back on those days to put out a record, to become famous, or to?
Easier to make a record? No, not easy to make a record, because nowadays anybody can make a record. Yeah. But back in the day, you know, you obviously had to you play a showcase, and a bunch of people would come, and then A&R people would come to see you play, and they'd go, oh, this band's good, and then they'd go through 6-7 months to a year of processing you, and then you might get signed. And I remember back in the day when I did get signed to it was called Electra Asylum Records, and it was the Eric Martin band. Yeah. And everybody thought I was famous after that, or like, oh, he's so rich. I was still sleeping on my dad's couch, you know. And was it easier? No, it wasn't easy, but it was hard, and that's good. Yeah. You know, now anybody can be. Now there's so many bands. You know, the problem is, I like a lot of bands that are out there, but it's like everybody, like, say you got a band like American Rejects, and they're a great band, but there's a million bands, 10 bands that sound just like them, you know? And that's how it was back in the 80s and 90s, too. Like, towards the 90s, all those hair bands that people, I hate that word, but, like, the people were saying, like, hair bands, like Us or something, you know? The glam, we're not glam. I never really put us in kind of like that category, but we were in that genre. Yeah, by proxy. But all those bands, there were so many that sounded just like Poison, say. So when the late 90s came and the 2000s came, it was good. It was evolution, you know. It's the way it is. And it didn't bother me. It bothered me a little bit about when Nirvana came out and Pearl Jam. That's because they were taking food out of my mouth or taking some of the audience, you know. But I get it because it's evolution, you know.
Okay.
I completely, like, you know, painted my own picture with your question. Thank you. It was like so many different answers.
Yes.
Okay.
And I've got one more question. I know that you're half Irish, is it true? And half Italian?
Yeah.
From where?
Well, my mother, her maiden name is Boccone, and I don't really know where. She doesn't either. It's like kind of a, we don't talk about it in the family. It's one of those shh, hush, hush.
Keep
We
it in
don't
the
talk
closet.
about- keep it in, yeah, keep it in the closet. A lot of like skeletons and stuff.
all right.
My father was Irish, Scottish and Irish.
And you lived here, in Italy?
I lived in Vicenza for like 2 or 3 years when I was a kid, 11, 12, 13.
And then we've got another very important note about Mr. Eric Martin. In 1995, you sang for the Power Rangers Orchestra.
Yeah, I'm proud of it. Shh. Go. Yeah, go. The song you could hear, like, I've sang a lot of weird lyrics, my own, but the ability to morph and even up the score. I hope I never have to say that again. Yeah, that
You got to do it.
go.
Power Rangers.
The thing was with that, Ron Nevison is a producer. He produced, Physical Graffiti, Led Zeppelin, and the Babies, this band back in the 80s and 90s, and Heart. And he got the call to put something together, so he called people that he liked and he admired. So he got Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses, me, this guy Kim Bullard, a keyboard player, and great keyboard player, session guy, an incredible guy. This guy Tim Pierce, who's a guitar player that actually, I mean, he's a session guy, played with everybody. And we all got together and we cut it like twice, you know, and it was like, go, Power Rangers. It was funny, you know, really high voice, vocal kind of thing. And the movie was playing, like while we were trying to get inspired. And it was we weren't kids, but we're young at heart, we're kids at heart, you know. But I remember where we did it twice, and this is like analog tape. It's not like Pro Tools. If you had made a mistake, you have to cut the tape and splice it together, right? So yeah, maybe 2 or 3 times, and I remember Matt going, oh yeah, we were all laughing about how childlike and how silly this is, you know. Yeah, you're like, oh God, my career's over. No, I didn't feel that way at all. Because I love anime and I love that kind of stuff, the kids stuff and video games, and now that I have children, it means so much more, you know. But I remember Matt Sorum, great drummer from Guns, you know, goes, we put it all together and spliced it, and he goes, oh man, we're never gonna be able to do this live. And we all went, yeah.
All right. Do you guys have some pre-show ritual, warming up exercises? But I want to know about the rituals, the secret rituals before the show. Nothing.
We cut off like a lamb's head off and no shit like that. We basically, Paul is a human jukebox, can come up with like so many things, you know, and so we just like sing Beatles songs to Johnny Cash, to Judas Priest. Oh yeah, Hellbent for Leather, Ring of Fire, and Nowhere Man. You know, and that was yesterday. Today it could be Barbara Ann from the 50s, you know, and Tank, the old English band, you know, and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Eros Ramazzotti, I don't know.
Oh my God, please. We cut this part.
Yeah, Zucchero, you know, we could do all that kind of shit. Anyway, so we do that, and then we have, like, right before we go on stage, we have this thing where we put our fists together, and we say stuff like, what happens in Rome
Stays in Rome.
No, we go, what happens in Rome happens in Rome. You know, we just skirt it. And tonight we'll be doing the same thing in Bologna. So.
Right. Okay, let's go to the end because I don't want to take you. We are mainly a heavy metal website, as you can see from the t-shirts. And I'd like to know if you like heavy metal, some kind of heavy metal, some bands.
I like the 70s and 80s heavy metal. And when I say heavy metal, that's Priest and Maiden and even Whitesnake and you know, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of metal I like.
Some new bands.
I name a band, and I'll tell you.
Symphony X.
No, I never heard of
Dream Theater.
Is that heavy metal, really? That's kind of progressive metal. Is it heavy? I guess it could be heavy.
Are heavy.
Yeah. I listen to Dream Theater. Yeah.
Then? What else?
You don't know anything else?
Oh yes, I
You
know.
get 5
Yes, I do.
You get 4 and 4.
Do you want some other names?
Yeah, man.
Okay. What can we say? Symphony X, Dream Theater, Vanden Plus.
No.
No. Pendragon.
No.
What else? Metallica. All the thrash metal scene. Trash, not thrash. Thrash is another thing.
Yeah,
Trash.
you know what? I listen to everything, you know, and I know it's a heavy metal website, but it's all rock.
Yes.
The foundation is rock, you know.
That's why we love you.
Yeah. And so, like even like tonight, it's not we don't play heavy metal, but it's got the energy of heavy metal, you know. I mean, there's some look. Racer X, would you say that would be like kind of a speed metal band, right? And you're gonna hear shit like that. And Billy Sheehan played with Talus and David Lee Roth, UFO, you know, that combination. Pat played with Ted Nugent, Robert Plant, yeah. Eric Martin just borrows everything, just fucking puts it in a blender, turns it on again, and it's me, the multi-purpose man. I'm a Swiss Army knife of rock.
Of rock. All right. Last question. What can we expect from Mr. Big in the future? Are there any plans? Are you
Never plans.
You live in the present.
Well, we basically take baby steps. I know that sounds kind of silly and sweet and queer, but what we do is we just don't stress about it like we used to, and not everything has to be so serious. And we got this big plan, and you know, 6 months from now, oh God, we got to do an album. We got to be somewhere at the same time, and we just kind of go. We have a conference call, probably in about 3 or 4 months, and go, hey, you want to do a record? Like that. It's pretty painless, you know? Yeah, it's painless. It's like, we don't think of things like root canals, you know? I mean, if that makes any sense, we just don't plan. But, that being said, I want to get the jump on it, so I hope we do a record, and so I'll write some songs, so I'll just be ahead of the game a little bit, you know? And cool thing about it is, if we make a record, that means we get to tour again. And to me, that's the best part. I mean, I'm glad we put out this What If album, but I'm really not done campaigning it yet. We've been on the road for 7 months, and I still want to tour. And I love it. I used to not like it because there was too much. It was just too much. It wasn't like there was no breaks, you know. And I have a family, and I had a family before, and I kind of lost it. So I have a new family, and I want to keep this family. You know what I'm saying? And but anyway, the point is that after December, we're done with the campaign of What If album, and Billy is going to go do B3. Jeff Berlin, Stu Ham, and you know the illustrious Billy Sheehan, and Paul I think might do some touring, and maybe even a solo record again. I don't know what Pat's gonna do. I'm gonna be probably Mr. Mom for a little while. You know, I've been gone for 7 months. My wife probably needs a break. And and then also I got a Monsters of Rock cruise, and I got some projects I'm doing in Japan. But my biggest love is Mr. Big, and I want to keep that door. I want to tear the door off the hinges so there's no door at all. It's just huge, fucking light at the end of the tunnel, you know.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Yep, it's been great and sweating with you.
Thank you very much. I'm sweating very much because it's fucking hot.
Yes, it is.
And this is the 2nd of October. It's still summer. Okay, Eric Martin.
Centurion.
Thank you very much.
Pass.
Respect. For Metal.it. Thank you. Thanks, man.
Eric Martin from the band Mr. Big, and you gotta check out the band Tank. T-A-N.
Okay. Thank you.
Just